we look at another object?
Okay.
Perhaps the bust, the small metal figure.
Yeah, this is very interesting. It's made in Benin. It's made of brass. It's a modern piece, but I found it very interesting because it was. I think it depicts a god, but it was actually made for the tourist market. It's like the reinvention of history. This is why I found it interesting. It's not an antique, but it's based on an old design. And yes, it's interesting because it's a depiction of the human form, and it's interesting.
Although it's, in actual fact, it's probably not a god, but it's very legendary, almost godlike.
Okay,
demigod.
Benin,
from Benin. I think it's the person, one of the people who was the founder of the Benin Kingdom.
Okay.
And who's become a legend in its own right within Benin and within Nigeria. So it's somebody who actually did exist as as a human being there. Now, obviously, this is a representation of a person. In the museum, there are a number of objects or a number of items, artifacts, which are actually human remains, and this isn't one. And I believe there are one or two that you could have chose, but you avoided choosing those. Can you tell me why that is, and why you're much more drawn to looking at a sculpture of something rather than actual human remains?
Well, I think one should use a degree of reverence in handling human remains, and of course museums exhibit them for educational purposes. But personally, this is my opinion, I feel a lot more confidence handling something like this.
Do you have any views about human remains or skeletons or skulls?
I think that once they have been studied, it might be a good idea to arrange for reburial, or in some cases repatriation if they belong to, or if they are the remains of ancestors or somebody who lives abroad. This is my view. But there are grey areas, and I don't necessarily have very strong feelings about it. I do believe that museums have a duty to educate the young, so I think that human remains play a role in that.
You're talking about some objects you think it would be good if they could be returned to where they came from in terms of human remains. Do you feel the same thing would be true of objects that maybe arrived here through foul means of some kind or other?
Well, that depends. It depends on whether there are, for instance, foreign governments or organizations or people in general request, actually ask for these objects to be sent back. But generally speaking, I think museums do a very good job in the way that these objects are curated and displayed. So, again, there are grey areas.